Well, well, well. What have we here? A Q&A, huh? Ooh, I'm really scared. I'm not doing the rest of the song. Anyway, so let's go into this. As you guys know, there are the few things. If I did not answer someone's questions, that usually means that if I did not answer someone's question, that usually means it was either marked as spam or YouTube didn't have it on the list, so I apologize in advance for that. Also, if the mic sounds a little weird, that's because I got the fan on, because it does get hot in my room, even though it's in fall, whatever. Anyway, so yeah, let's start things off with Ira Sutton, who asks, with all the Planet of the Apes crossovers lately, what would you think of a Planet of the Apes Night Before Christmas crossover? I can't, but then again, I didn't think a Green Lantern crossover with Planet of the Apes was possible, but then that happened. Second question, do you think Jack would fare against Freddy Krueger in the dream world? Possibly. Third question, what do you think the main six would think of Halloween? Well, I think they would like it. I think Fluttershy would be completely terrified and have a heart attack by the end of it. But really, I honestly think Rainbow Dash would think it's the most coolest thing ever, and Pinkie Pie would love it as well. So, in all fairness, I think they would. I think most of them really enjoy themselves, with the exception of Fluttershy. So there you go. Thank you for those questions, Ira. Moving on now to Billy McCary, who asks, A Night Before Christmas and Milo Murphy's Law crossover. What would be weird? What would happen? Maybe have it that Milo's wandered into Halloween Town and he keeps destroying it, but they love the idea because anything life-threatening is hilarious to them, or something like that. Alright, the Power Rangers meet everyone from Halloween Town upon entering it. What would their reactions be? I think they would be like, they're full of monsters, let's go fight monsters, because that's what we do. Third question, Freddy, Jason, Michael, Chucky, Ghostface, and Slappy the Dummy arrive in Halloween Town, and Jack led an army of monsters to battle them. What happens? I think they get honestly overwhelmed? The monsters would just overwhelm them and kick them out of Halloween Town? I don't know. Thank you for those questions, Billy. Moving on now to Andrew Varney, who asks, Lapis, Peridot, Garnet, Amethyst, and Pearl fall into Halloween Town. What kind of hijinks ensue upon Crystal Gems meeting the Pumpkin King? I think Amethyst would have too much fun there, and I think, yeah, Amethyst would have too much fun there, and no one else would want to be there except Amethyst. Alright. Second question. Night Before Christmas Phineas and Ferb crossover. How might it go down? Maybe have that, one night for Halloween, they go out to, they hear the legend of these doors that can lead to different holidays, and they find their way into Halloween Town? Something like that? I don't know. Alright, Jack and Sally react to the following. Brooke, One Piece, Steven and Connie, Slenderman, Abridged Nappa, Abridged Krillin, Abridged Popo, and W.D. Gaster. I think out of all of them, I think Gaster would be the one that goes, do we have a relation somewhere? Alright. So thank you for those questions, Andrew Varney. Moving on now to Carlotta Studios, who asks, if the Stormhawks are residents of Halloween Town, what kind of monsters would they be? I think Piper would be a witch. Yeah, Piper would be a witch. Finn... Stork would probably be like some kind of goblin or creature from the Black Lagoon type monster. Arrow would be like a vampire. Finn, maybe a werewolf. Junko's like a Frankenstein type monster, something like that. Anyway, second question. What was your favorite moment from the movie? All of it. But no, I think my favorite part is the beginning with the song This Is Halloween, because it's such an iconic song, and it really just shows you all the cool little designs for the monsters. I think it's probably my favorite part, is the opening. Anyway, third question. Something I never really understood in the movie. We all know that Santa Claus delivers presents to children of our world, and without him, Christmas is basically ruined. But what do the monsters in Halloween Town do? Do they come into our world and scare kids, or do they just stay in their world? Huh, that's a good question. I never thought of that. Do they come out of Halloween Town to scare people, or do they just stay there and... Because in the original poem, it says that all they do is make each holiday world spends a whole year making that holiday come true. So, this is quite a quandary, people. I guess maybe they do come out and scare people. I guess. Maybe. Anyway, thank you for those questions, Carlotta Studios. Moving on now to Ian Green, who asks, Nausicaa, Asbel, Kasana, Upta, I'm gonna just mess up these names, Mito and Kurotawa from Nausicaa and the Wind Valley, coming to Halloween Town. How do they react? I think, Kurotawa and Jack would be like, you sound familiar. Second question. How would Jack interact with No-Face from Spirited Away? I think, honestly, he would look at No-Face and be like, oh, you're so terrifying. You want to come live with us? You'll have oodles of fun. Third question. Nightmare Before Christmas crossover with Ed, Edd n Eddy. How would you do it? No idea, because, honestly, there's a fanfiction series revolving around Ed, Edd n Eddy and Nightmare Before Christmas crossing over, and it's actually pretty good. It's, I think it has 3 stories in total, including a prologue, so, yeah. It's really good. I can't really think of anything else outside of that. So, thank you for those questions, Ian. Moving on now to Nicholas Harley, who asks, what is your opinion on This Is Halloween song? It's probably one of my favorite Disney songs, and it just gets you in the mood. Just right off the gate, it gets you in the mood. Alright, Batman enters Halloween Town. What happens next? I think they would honestly mistake him for a monster. Like, he'd be like, oh, you're so terrifying, we love it. Are you a vampire? No, bat monster? Human? Really? Huh. Alright, how scared would SpongeBob and Patrick be if they entered Halloween Town? Very. Anyway, thank you for those questions, Nicholas Harley. Moving on now to Christian Sager, who asks, Freddy Krueger starts piling up the body count in Halloween Town. How does Jack react to someone scaring way too far? I think he would either banish him, kill him, or something. I'm convinced Jack has some kind of power, so I guess he would throw him out or kill him. Something to that degree. Second question. Jack mentions that he's feared throughout England and France. I had a theory that hints of him being used to be the Jack the Ripper or the Spring-Heeled Jack, as he mentioned before he mellowed out. Thoughts? I don't know if he was Jack the Ripper at one point. I don't think that was him, but I guess he was some kind of monster. Maybe Spring-Heeled Jack. Maybe because get it, Spring-Heeled Jack. Maybe before he was the Pumpkin King, he was the monster Spring-Heeled Jack. I mean, it kind of fits the description. A tall, slender creature that could crawl up walls with long fingers. Yeah, that kind of fits Jack. Maybe before he was the Pumpkin King, he just went by Spring-Heeled Jack or something to that degree. Anyway. But Jack the Ripper, no. Alright, third question. Can you sing This Is Halloween? I'm not singing the whole song, sorry. But thank you for those questions regardless, Christian Sager. Moving on now to Tao T. Jones, who asks, how would Steven react if he found himself in Halloween Town? He'd probably have a lot of fun, especially with Lock, Shock, and Barrel. I can just see him buddying out with those guys. Who would you cast in a remake of Nightmare Before Christmas? No idea, honestly. I don't know if in a live-action remake, no thank you. I don't know who I would cast in a remake, because that movie's too good. And I suck at fan casting. Third question. Do you think Jack and Boogie were friends or were they always enemies? I think everyone, by the way Jack describes him, I think everyone kind of, really didn't care for Oogie's, no one really cared about Oogie Boogie and really knew that he was the big bad of the Halloween Town world. Anyway. Thank you for those questions, Tao Jones. Moving on now to Darth Venom, who asks, if they ever made a sequel to Nightmare Before Christmas, what holidays would you like to see explored, like Easter, Thanksgiving? I think Easter would be fun. Easter, St. Patrick's Day would be a lot of fun. Thanksgiving, I don't know what you would do with that one, honestly. But Easter and St. Patrick's Day. Oh, and 4th of July. That would also be a lot of fun to see. Second question. Jack Skellington makes a deal with Mephisto and gains the power of Ghost Rider. What happens? Oh, he wouldn't use that as a spirit of vengeance. He would just use that of scaring the shit out of people. Third question. What would happen if Yakko, Wacko, and Dot ended up in Halloween Town? Oh, no. Oogie would they would just bother Oogie to no end. They would just annoy him to no frickin' end. Anyway. Thank you for those questions, Darth Venom. Moving on now to Travis Rendon, who asks, what kind of monster would you be in Halloween Town, and what side or would you side with Jack's idea or side with Sally? I think I'd like to be a werewolf of some sort. And maybe I'd side with Sally's idea because she realizes, yeah, this is not a good idea, and I'm usually like, yeah, this is not a good idea. Alright. Do you think Skullboy from Ruby Gloom is Jack and Sally's kid? I've heard that theory before. I don't know, that obviously isn't true, but I've heard that headcanon, I should say, before. I've heard that before, and I'd actually believe it at some degree, but I don't think Jack and Sally would just up and abandon their kid. They don't seem like those type of people. Alright, if you chose to create a heir to Jack's legacy, aka a kid, for a new Disney XD series following his kid, what would be the kid's personality and appearance be? Something maybe like Skullboy, but maybe have like little stitches all over him like Sally would, or maybe you'd be a patchwork kid like Sally and brought to life by Dr. Fickelstein. That might be the case, because obviously, you know, they're both dead, and Jack's kind of lacking on a certain part of anatomy. A certain part of anatomy, so it would probably be like they made him the interesting way. But no, I think that would be a cool idea. Anyway, so thank you for those questions, Travis. Moving on now to King Nazaru, who asks, how would Jack feel about him being one of the most powerful metals in Kingdom Hearts Unchained X? He'd probably be flattered. Second question, how would an Outlast and NBC crossover go? I haven't really played Outlast, so sorry. So, yeah, I haven't really played Outlast, so sadly I can't really comment on that one. Third question, do you think Gyokyo Suzen from Mocha's stepmother from Rosario plus Vampire and Dracula's second in command would be a recruit for Oogie Boogie and Black Goku in Fairy Tail in order to wipe out humans? Probably. Probably. That's all I need to say on that is probably. Anyway, thank you for those questions, King Nazaru. Moving on now to Markuru Rakudo. I'm just going to call it Kirayumi. And spare myself from butchering that name. I apologize, but Kirayumi asks, if Jack entered the other doors and met the Easter Bunny, Cupid, and the Leprechaun, what would be the other what other holiday king should the turkey be for the King of Thanksgiving, and who would be the King of Independence Day would be? Oh, that's easy. Uncle Sam would be the Lord of the 4th of July world. Yeah, that would be it, Uncle Sam. And he would just be like this overly patriotic guy, and he would be voiced by R. Lee Ermey. No, really, let's be honest here. If that was a case, it would be Uncle Sam voiced by R. Lee Ermey going, "You piece of bony shit. Drop and give." I can't do R. Lee Ermey. I can't do any impressions. Second question. If there was a Nightmare Before Christmas animated series, should the villains be each part of the 7 holidays, like Jack Frost or from Christmas Town, or also Oogie Boogie creating a group of 7 different villains? Yeah, I could see, like, I guess one villain could be Krampus. I mean, yeah, let's have Krampus as a villain for the series. Makes sense. Third question, if Jack Skellington gets a costume that is a combine of all holidays of Independence Day hat, bunny ears, Cupid wings, and... Oh. Didn't they have a costume like that in Noogie's Revenge? I haven't played that game in a long time, but I feel like that was a thing. Alright. Thank you for those questions, Kirayumi. Moving on now to Omnitron12345, who asks... the Doctor ends up in Halloween Town. What transpires? I think he would constantly be, especially if it's Capaldi's Doctor, he'd be like, this is not real. This cannot be a real thing. I am going to disprove it. Second question. Papyrus ends up in Halloween Town. What happens? I have made it to the legendary Halloween Town. We've met. I can't do the Papyrus voice right now. But no, I think Papyrus would really like it. I think he would look at Jack and go, have we met? Or are we related of some sort? If you could live in Halloween Town... I already answered this one. Thank you for those questions, Omnitron. Moving on now to Andrew Schaefer, who asks, Dipper and Mabel manage to befriend Jack and Sally upon entering Halloween Town. How does Oogie Boogie try to ruin everything? I think he and the Summerween Trickster would try to destroy everything. Yeah, you'd think I'd go with Bill, but no, I think the Summerween Trickster would be a better villain for this kind of scenario. Anyway, what was your favorite song? I already answered this one. This is Halloween. Did you like the game Nightmare Before Christmas Oogie's Revenge? I really like the game. I really dig it. I think it's really fun. Really does some cool world exploration, and it really gets to play with all the different games, and it actually has Jack with a whip-like thing that can actually rip people's souls out. How awesome is that? Anyway, moving right along, thank you for those questions, Andrew Schaefer. Moving on now to May Sun, who asks, have you ever read the poem Night Before Christmas that was written by Tim Burton? Yes, I have. It was really good. Second question. What would the Halloween Town people think of the monsters from Undertale, and what would happen if Ermac from Mortal Kombat would come to... I don't know how they'd feel about Ermac, but I feel like they would look at the monsters from Undertale and go, "Oh, welcome in! You're always welcome here, you frightful things!" Sorry to get some water. Alright, what would happen if Jack met Sam from Trick or Treat, or if Jack met Ghost Rider? Again, I think he would be like, "Oh, you're just utterly terrifying. Would you like to help me with something? Would you like to help me scare these kids?" Alright, moving on now. So thank you for those questions, May Sun. Moving on now to Cash Smith, who asks, Jack Skellington travels to the land of Election Day. Again, he would meet the Lord of Election Day land, and tell, he would look at Uncle Sam and go, "You're kind of needed out there, man." Yeah. Jack's second question. Jack Skellington and He-Man must team up to save Halloween Town from the evil Skeletor. How would He-Man react to Halloween Town? I can't do the Skeletor voice right now. My throat really hurts, so... sorry. I know that's the one thing people always want to see from this, but unfortunately I can't deliver. I think He-Man's reaction would be, "Monsters! Monsters everywhere! I'm going to destroy them all." Third question. Crossover with Gravity Falls, Steven Universe, and/or Starverse The Force of Evil. Which would be best? I gotta agree that Gravity Falls would be the best, because when you really think about it, Night Before Christmas just seems like a world that Gravity Falls would be crossed over with. Although my second one would be Starverse The Force of Evil, because that just seems like a world Star and Marco would just wander into. Alright. Moving on, thank you for those questions, Cash Smith. Moving on now to Shockwave Spider, who asks, have you ever played the Nightmare Before Christmas video games? I already answered this one. Yes, I have. Second question. If Jack and Sally had a kid, what gender would it be, and what would they name it? I don't know what they would name it. Maybe... I'm not good with naming things. I don't know what it, as to what it would look like. I mean, it would probably be a boy. I don't know. I just think they'd have a son. The Pumpkin Prince. Third question. Do you own the movie, and how would you write a sequel? As much as I love the movie, it's really hard to find a DVD these days. I just watch it, and, I just watch it whenever it comes on ABC or Disney Channel, or whenever it shows in Christmas or Halloween or at times. But, how would I write a sequel? How would I write a sequel? I think what I would do is have that all the other holidays come to Halloween Town and put Jack on trial, and have it that Santa Claus has gone missing again, and this time they're like, "Look, Jack, last time when Santa Claus went missing, you stole him. You kidnapped him, and you more or less nearly destroyed Christmas. Christmas was nearly canceled. We nearly had a shit fit, and it turns out that who really captured Santa Claus is Krampus. Yeah, Krampus has taken it because he doesn't want the jolly red jackass to be in his way anymore, and now he wants to punish not just bad kids but also good kids." But now, and he's found the perfect scapegoat is, he frames Jack, kidnaps Santa Claus, and I guess the other monsters would try to figure out, Jack's gotta find a way to clear his name by finding Krampus, who's hiding in the other world, who's kind of moving around through the other holiday worlds with Santa as his hostage. Something like that. That would be my ideal sequel. It's not really bring back Oogie, but use Krampus as the main villain. Anyway, thank you for those questions, Shockwave Spider. Moving on now to One of None, who asks, Jack and Sally double bat. Who with who? I don't know what double batting means. So, sorry. Oogie in the No Name Club. Who does he sit with? Oh, in the No Name Club, the big crossover fanfiction series I do with Alexander Anayas. Oh, he'd be sitting with the major villains, like the big time villains, like Toffee, Dominator, and Vlad. All right, Jack in Ponyville. What happens? What's this? What's this? There's color everywhere. What's this? What's this? There's ponies in the air. That's all I got. Anyway. Thank you for those questions. One of none. Moving on now to Alistair Boneman, who asks, do you agree that the theory that every kind of horror-based character or monster ends up in Halloween Town? And if so, do you think the creatures that interact with each other, for example, the cosmic horror found in Lovecraftian works, would interwork with the normal residents of Halloween Town? I feel like if the old ones lived in that world, they would be like, yeah, we don't bother with them. They're on the other side of the world, but we don't want to bother them, or they'll drive us mad. Second question: have you ever read the comic series called Hack Slash? And if so, oh yeah, I love Hack Slash. I would love to see Hack Slash in Nightmare Before Christmas. I think that would be a lot of fun. Cassie and Vlad hanging out with Jack. Oh, that would just be oodles of fun. Second question: have you ever... Oh wait, that was the second question. Third question: how would Jack and Sally react to the following? Evil Dead, Trick or Treat, Freddy vs. Jason, and Prometheus. I think they would laugh at all of them, because to them I feel like horror movies would be comedies. That's how I feel like the people of Halloween Town would treat horror movies, is they would look at them like comedies, while they would look at a movie like, I don't know, Valentine's Day, and run out of the theater screaming. Alright. Thank you for those questions, Alistair Bowman. Moving on now to Andre Partridge, who asks, Danny Phantom accidentally enters the Halloween door and winds up in Halloween Town. What happens next? I feel like, yeah, he would instantly be like, wait, you guys aren't scared of me? And you guys aren't evil monsters? Oh, goodness no, we just love a good scare. Second question: Jack and Sally meet up with Dracula and his family in Hotel Transylvania. What happens next? I feel like Jack and Sally would go to Hotel Transylvania just to get a rest after a long year of preparing for Halloween. Alright, Jack and Sally meet up the following characters. Freddy, Jason, Michael, Chucky, Pinhead, Ash, Candyman, Leatherface, and Ghostface. What happens? You guys need a place to stay. That would be it. It was like, come on, let's hang out here. Alright. Moving on, so thank you for those questions, Andre Partridge. Moving on now to RoboKaiju75, who asks, how would you do a Frankenweenie Nightmare Before Christmas crossover? Maybe have it that Sparky has gone missing and he's wandered into Halloween Town, and Victor has to go out and find him, and he ends up in Halloween. That's the best I got. Second question: have you ever played I already played the video games, yes. What would the real Ghostbusters think of Jack Skellington and his friends, and could you see Slimer becoming friends with Jack's dog, Zero? Yeah, I would absolutely love to see the Ghostbusters wander around, because it would just be one big paranormal field day for Egon and Ray. And Venkman would just be like, I just want to get the hell out of here. And poor Winston would be like, I do not, why are we here? No. Alright. Thank you for those questions, RoboKaiju. Moving on now to Cody Bradish, who asks, I love crossovers, I know you do too, heck, so that's why they call you the crossover guy. But one question keeps popping in my head. A lot of time when I think of the subject, I'm not really interested seeing Night Before Christmas characters and setting crossovers or anything, really. So are there any crossovers you'd be interested in, and exactly how crossover able do you think basically asking what could I see crossing over the Night Before Christmas. Gravity Falls is usually the one that comes to mind first and foremost. Ruby Gloom is another one. MLP, and I was convinced how, because you can cross, literally no one gives a fuck because everyone crosses MLP with everything. But yeah, there's also the really good three-chapter fanfiction, The Nightmare After Nightmare Night, which is actually a nice little story of the characters going into Halloween Town to find Rarity after the episode Nightmare Night. It's got so much fun in it. It's got Rarity hanging out with Jack. It's got, it actually adds a bit of headcanon that I've now added, is that people who enter the Halloween Town in costume become that costume. Like, remember how in Nightmare Night, Twilight was dressed as Star Swirl, but she lost the beard, and now she thinks she's a young Star Swirl who was like a dungeon master of sorts. And then you have Applejack, who was dressed as a scarecrow. Now she is a scarecrow. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And you get to see Luna and Zecora try to stall for time. with Spike. Anyway. Alright, second question. Do you think Nightmare Before Christmas sequel should focus on one building or explore the house? Yeah, I already talked about this. Third question. Sort of an extension of my second question. Do you think Nightmare Before Christmas sequel should have... Yeah, I answered that one. And I do think a sequel should be made at some point. I mean, you're already bringing back a lot of nostalgia, so why not? Alright, moving on. Thank you for those questions, Cody Bradish. Moving on now to Brian Cam, who asks, what couples from any media can you see dressing up as Jack and Sally for Halloween? You said Lelouch and Cece from Code Geass. I think Randy and Teresa from Randy Cunningham, 9th Grade Ninja. Totally, they would be Jack and Sally. Dipper and Wendy as Jack and Sally. That's all I really got. Well, maybe Penn and Sashi, if Penn can convince Sashi to dress up as Sally, maybe. All right, Star Butterfly meets the clown with the tearaway face. How does she react? Rainbow Narwhal attack to the faceless clown face. Third question. Hellboy and Ash end up in Halloween Town. How long does it take to him to get sick of all the singing and townfolk overly ghoulish cheeriness? Give or take about an hour, if not 11 minutes. Thank you for those questions, Brian Cam. Moving on now to Major Badass, who asks, which horror movie monsters could you see the people of Halloween Town meet and be a part of the town? I think, honestly, like someone like Michael or Jason. Probably all of them at some point. Anyway, second question. What's the most ridiculous holiday you'd like to see have a spirit? Talk Like a Pirate Day. And have Patchy the Pirate from SpongeBob be the spirit. Third question. Do you think it would make sense, or possibly could be connected, that this Halloween Town is from the Disney Channel movie Halloween Town? I'm not really in that mindset, because that Halloween Town is vastly different from the one we see of the movie's Halloween Town. It's going to get confusing. Anyway, thank you for those questions, Major Badass. Moving on now to Xavier Ford, who asks, what is Skeletor's reaction to Halloween Town? Would the existence of the holidays completely destroy all modern-day religions? What would his I can't do the Skeletor voice, but it would be something like, meow. Wouldn't the existence of holidays completely destroy all modern-day religions? I don't know if that's a little too deep for my thinking. What do you think is the St. Patrick's Day world? I'm guessing beer and bad decisions. You'd probably be right. It'd just be a lot of, I think, like, you would just step into Boston. Like, you would just walk, oh, this is St. Patrick's Day. Or you walk into Ireland. Like, you walk into Ireland. That's St. Patrick's Day. Oh, man. Anyway, no offense to Ireland. I just feel like, because that was actually, I think College Humor did that once. And the reason why I'm saying Ireland is because I remember College Humor did a video of a parody of Night Before Christmas of what if he walked into the St. Patrick's Day world, and he literally walked into Ireland. So yeah, I just couldn't help but reference that, so yeah, sorry. I just couldn't help but think of that College Humor bit. Sorry. Anyway. So, yeah. Thank you for those questions, Xavier Ford. Moving on now to Max Gentleman 1. Penn and the gang are zapped into Halloween Town. Who do they shadow? Penn is Jack, Sashi is Sally, and Boone would be the mayor. Because I think he would have a lot of fun twisting his face around. And just keep twisting his face around until it pops off or something like that. Second question. The Gravity Falls gang find the holiday doors out in the woods. Do they enter Halloween? And they enter Halloween's. What happens next? Stan's gonna try to make some money off of Halloween Town, that's for sure. Yeah. Ash from Evil Dead goes to Halloween Town. What happens? Alright, you primitive deadheads, listen up. This is my boomstick! Alright. Moving on, thank you for those questions, Max. Moving on now to Action Fan. Action Fan 19, who asks, Van Helsing in Halloween Town. Who freaks out first? Probably Van Helsing. What do you think of if Krampus found out about Jack's shenanigans? Jack would be in trouble. Probably, but like I said, I think I would make, if they ever did a sequel, have it be Krampus as the main villain. If Lucifer from the TV show came to Halloween Town, what would he think of it? Ugh, so rightfully ghoulish, it's disgusting. Where's all the gore? Where's all the severed heads? Ugh. Tries too hard to be like a Hot Topic segment. But probably something like that. Thank you for those questions, Action Fan. Moving on now to Matt Kaiser 08, who asks, Godzilla, Gamera, and Kong were all inhabitants of Halloween Town. What roles would you have for them? Probably as all delegates of the kaiju part of Halloween Town, something like that. If there were any characters of Nightmare that you hated, not really, I loved them all. Alright, Deadpool in Halloween Town. What kind of fucked up shit goes down? I think he would try to have sex with Sally. Like, he would just, like, separate all of her body and be like, I'm gonna do, like, 9 different fetishes at once. Here I go! Oh. Alright. So thank you for those questions, Matt Kaiser. Moving on now to Wolfman the Impaler asks, Milo Murphy and the gang make their way to Halloween Town. How do they react? Kinda already answered this one, Wolfman, sorry. Jack and Sally discover Hot Topic, what happens? I think they would be like, oh, this place, where's our agents? We're getting screwed. Nightmare Before Christmas Darkstalkers crossover. What happens and what would each side think of each other? I think, honestly, they would John Talbane and the rest of them would be having a lot of fun there, but they would just constantly be making war, and the rest of the Halloween Town members would be like, stop fighting, monsters shouldn't fight one another, or something to that degree. Alright, thank you for those questions. Moving on now to Fox Mulder, who asks, how would you do a Gravity Falls NBC crossover? Oh, he's asking how would I do this. Maybe have it that Dipper is reading through the journal and Ford tells him that maybe they're there visiting over the holidays or Summerween or something to that degree, and Ford tells Dipper about the time he encountered a series of doors that led to different physical holidays, and he leads the rest of the group into the Halloween Town and reveals that he and Jack were buddies at one point. That he had wandered into Halloween Town once, and he and Jack were good friends, or something to that degree. Alright, what would Star and Marco's reaction to be to Jack and Sally? I think Star would try to blast them, but I think it would just be absolutely adorable to watch them hang out and try on costumes together. As a group couple thing, like, oh, this costume fits you so well. Alright, what would Penn and Sashi's reaction be to Jack and Sally? I think Sashi would honestly try to destroy them because undead equals bad in her line of work. But Penn would be like, no, don't do that. Alright. Alright, moving on now to, thank you for those questions, Fox Mulder. Moving on now to Dylan Malone, 14, who asks, if Jack encountered SC's Scarecrow, what would they think of each other, and how would they, what would they think of each other, and what would they do to each other? SC. Talking about Super... I don't know what SC stands for, and maybe I just can't remember it, but if you're talking about Batman's Scarecrow, I did remember reading a really cool fanfiction called I Am the Master of Fear, which was really fun. Anyway, sorry about that. Second question. If you could make a TV series on Nightmare Before Christmas, what would you want to do with it? Maybe have it that, if it was an animated series, focus on Jack and Sally's relationship, as well as Jack trying to keep the peace in Halloween Town, as well as the rest of the other holidays who really caught on to what Jack did, and now Halloween Town's kind of like in the shitter, because, yeah, the rest of the holidays didn't like the idea of Halloween, what they did to Christmas, what Halloween did to Christmas. So, yeah, they're kind of, Halloween Town is trying to get its reputation back, and Jack's trying to keep the peace between all the holidays. And maybe bring in other villains like Krampus, maybe bring back Oogie Boogie, I don't know, stuff like that. Oh, and the sequel thing, I already answered that. Alright, what Night Before Christmas characters would you like to see in epic rap battles, and who should be their opponent? Jack Skellington versus Papyrus from Undertale. There you go. Alright. Moving on now to Ugly Media 2, who asks, Starscream finds Halloween Town. How does he react? Bow, you undead fools, to your new master. No! Stop! Stop throwing candy at me! It'll get clogged in my ears! Alright, the Stormhawks find Halloween Town. How do they react? I think, honestly, Stork would be like, it's so dark, so vile! I like it here. And I think Piper would try to collect notes on every little thing. Alright. Sans and Papyrus meet Jack. What happens? I think Papyrus, because of how naive he is, he would honestly go, have we met? Are we related? Are you my brother? My uncle? Hug me! Anyway. So there you go, guys. I think that's all the questions. Once again, I want to thank everyone who sent in questions. This was a lot of fun. If I did answer someone's question, that usually means it was marked as spam or something else happened to it. But once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.